Hey, so today is it's a special edition of my usual stuff that I do on this channel. Today I have been tagged by Peter from Game Over Movie Reviews to participate in this little challenge thing where you say each of your favorite films from each genre. And so yeah, it's about as simple as that. Let's just jump right into it. So the first genre that I got here is arguably my favorite, and so it was particularly hard to narrow it down, okay? And it's horror. It is very much a loved genre by me. I could have gone with Get Out, it's amazing. I could have gone the happier, funner route with Happy Death Day. I could have gone with the much darker, depressing route with Hereditary, but I had to go with The Conjuring. The Conjuring to me is like the quintessential haunted house film. I know that like a lot of people would probably choose The Exorcist over it or any number of other films, but for me The Conjuring is it's just that classic scary movie to me. There's something about it that actually freaks me out. I think it's done very effectively. I think James Wan is like totally on his A game in this film. It is probably his best film. It's just a classic in my mind. I absolutely love it and I find it so fun, but it also keeps me on edge. Like there's something about it that I know a lot of people would probably think that this is kind of a basic ass choice. Like I know that it's not quite as disturbing as a lot of other horror films can get. It's kind of it's just ghosts and stuff, but it's done so effectively. It's really brought up to another level for me. I love The Conjuring. The next genre is action, and I have to say that surprisingly, well, it might surprise some people, that action is far from my favorite genre, but I do have some very close to my heart favorites though, including stuff like the first John Wick, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Raid. But my top pick for the action genre here is Baby Driver, with all the stunt car driving and all that stuff, and by the climax, I mean, there's some crazy shootout stuff and everything like that. Baby Driver has kind of got it all. But really what draws me to Baby Driver is the main character in Baby, who is like this morally grey guy who, he's got a heart of gold. You really root for him. He seems like a really nice guy, but obviously is conflicted because he's also part of this like criminal organization and all that stuff. I just think it balances everything really well. Edgar Wright does a great job with the comedy, with the action and everything, but really what he does extra well is the rhythm of this film. Like it's all set to a beat. It's just got this energy unlike any other film. There's something about it that just makes it so fun and I can just watch it anytime. And then next up is the comic book superhero genre. So my runner-ups for the comic book genre are Age of Ultron, Captain America the Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy, but my top spot for it has to be the original Sam Raimi directed Spider-Man from 2002. It is just my comfort film. It is a film that I've seen maybe 50 times in my life. I don't know, maybe more to be honest. It's just kind of always been there for me, It came out when I was 6 years old. I was terrified of it when I first saw it, with the Green Goblin. But ignoring that, it's always been a comfort film for me. It's just so iconic. And I don't know, it's also brought out a lot of memes since as well. So the joy just keeps coming. It's the gift that keeps on giving, this film, And yeah, I just absolutely love it. I don't care how corny you say it is. I don't care if you think it's silly. For me, it's amazing. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin is hilarious, but also terrifying at the same time. Tobey Maguire, I think he does a really good job as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, to be honest. I don't know. I love it. I love it. And then next up is comedy, which was another one that was pretty difficult for me because I have some bangers in there like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, 21 Jump Street, and Dodgeball. But my top spot is actually a fairly new one in Game Night. Yeah, this movie only came out in 2018, so it's pretty damn new. For me, I haven't really seen a lot of like the 80s classic comedy movies like, I don't know, Caddyshack, and I don't know, I'm not that big of a fan of things like Ghostbusters and stuff like that. For me, it's this much more recent stuff, and Game Night really just does it for me. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I'm kind of really into board games. Like, if I'm going to a family gathering in any way, I'm probably bringing a board game. It's kind of just like, I love board games. But really, this movie is also like just this big fun adventure kind of thing where, they get caught up in this criminal thing and everything. And that's fun, but really what makes this film is Jesse Plemons' police officer neighbor character. I don't remember the character's name, but this guy is just like immensely fucked up in a certain way, but he's also a very friendly guy who just wants to be involved, but there's some dark past to the guy. I find that character so fucking funny. Every time he speaks, I'm just like laughing out loud. Seriously, it's so damn good. He makes the whole film. Film is good as a whole on its own, but he makes it, you know what I mean? Next up is adventure, the adventure genre, which I arguably think is a little bit vague. I don't really know what entails being an adventure film, but I went with The Force Awakens, which, another controversial opinion, is my favorite Star Wars film. I know, blasphemy, I know. But for me, being somebody in 2015 who didn't really care about Star Wars, The Force Awakens really brought me into that kind of fandom and community and all that stuff. I thought the film did a great job of introducing these new characters, doing something familiar, while also doing enough new. I know it's a bit of a retread of A New Hope, but I think The Force Awakens is a really good film on its own as well. Anyway, but my next genre here is kind of a wild card genre. Ooh. Watch out, I'm adding a new one in here. Because I didn't really think that adventure was like the most quintessential genre for my taste anyway. I've added thriller, okay? So I'm breaking the rules a little bit, oh no. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I just thought thriller was such an important genre in terms of my taste. So here we go, I can do whatever the fuck I want. This is my video, so who cares about the rules? I'm adding thriller. So my runner-ups for thriller are Gone Girl and Parasite, both amazing films, but my top spot, and I'm very biased here because it's my favorite film of all time, it's Nightcrawler. This has Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance. He's also my favorite actor. I've mentioned this on the channel before, and he just brings this character of Lou Bloom to life, who is very, I don't even know how to describe him. It's a very interesting character. There is something dark going on with him. He's obsessive, but he's also weirdly respectable and ambitious in a way. There's something about him where you don't want to keep your eyes off him. For one, because he might strangle you if you do, but for two, just because he seems like this guy who you kind of want to be with a little bit. You kind of want to like follow him because he just wields this sort of power there. He's a very interesting, fucked up character who crosses the line throughout this film as he delves into this career of night crawling, which is basically just taking like news footage of various accidents and all that kind of thing. And yeah, the film gets very dark. I love it, and it is definitely my favorite thriller. Next up is Western, which is a genre that is kind of dead and gone. Nobody really loves Westerns a lot of the time anymore. It's kind of a thing of the past a little bit. But if I had to pick some favorites, there's Bone Tomahawk and Damsel. But my number one is just an easy as pick. It was the one that came straight to my mind. It's got to be Django Unchained. How can it not be? I mean, it's just, that's the Western to me. That's the Western, basically. Then next up is animation, and I have some very strong favorites in there. Some comfort films, some movies that I've watched many times, like Monsters, Inc. and also Tangled. But my very favorite, I think, in animated films is Zootopia. It really has a lot to say. I think that it kind of can teach kids important lessons about prejudice and all that kind of stuff. And I just think it does an amazing job of kind of balancing the silly cartoon characters and stuff, you know, animals doing silly people stuff, while also telling quite a serious story for a kid's film. And really, yeah, delving deep into its own themes. I highly respect Zootopia, and I think it's damn underrated, to be honest. I think it is freaking fantastic. Then next up is the romance genre, which I have seen some other people do this top 10 tag thing, where they've said that romance is far from their favorite genre. It's kind of not the thing that a lot of people like. But for me, I gotta say, romance is probably, like, it's high up there as one of my favorite genres, to be honest. Now, it's very hit and miss. That's the thing about romance. There's some clunkers in there for sure, and it can get very formulaic. But if they do the right thing, well, then you got some favorites in there for me, like 500 Days of Summer, the Before Sunrise and Sunset trilogy, and About Time, which is a time-traveling romance film. Please watch that if you haven't seen it. But my top spot has to be La La Land. It's just something that is mesmerizing to me. There's something about it every time I watch it where when the music starts, I'm just fucking hooked. I don't know. I love the dialogue in this film. It's funny. It's quick-paced. Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling together are just really likable. And it's also got you know, kind of a cynical viewpoint as well. I love how this film is sort of realistic while it's also got this backdrop of something that's very stylized. You know, it's a very colorful film. It's a very musical film, as it's a musical. But it also, yeah, it's got that kind of cynical viewpoint, and it goes into things with kind of this realist attitude. I don't agree with everything that it says, but I have a hell of a fun time watching it every time I do. Then the next genre is sci-fi, and my runner-ups for sci-fi are Her and Upgrade, but my top spot for sci-fi is easily Arrival. Arrival is one of the most special films I've ever seen in my life, if I'm being honest. I think it's the film that has made me think most about life and time. It made me think about alien species out there. It made me think about language. It made me think about, yeah, the perception of time, the limited time on this earth that we have. It made me think about just relationships and life, the purpose of it, and selfishness and selflessness as well. I think that this is a beautiful film. It's one of my favorite films of all time, very easily. I think it is amazing. I think Amy Adams in it is amazing. Denis Villeneuve did an amazing job directing it. And it's very heartfelt and heartbreaking, and just also very interesting and cool how it delves into how aliens could possibly be. Like, if you want to get a kind of glimpse at what you think a more realistic take on what aliens could be, I think that Arrival's aliens, I feel like they are a bit more realistic than, you know, your little green men and stuff. I just think this is a very intelligent film. Please watch Arrival if you have not seen Arrival. And by the way, I'm sorry if you watch my channel and these are all movies, like all the movies I've mentioned already are ones that I just always talk about, but I'm talking about my favorites, so that's just kind of what this video is, isn't it? And then the last genre that is part of the top 10 tag thing is drama, which I know is kind of quite a vague genre. Like, pretty much anything can be drama. Like, you know, superhero films have drama in them and all that kind of stuff. But if we want to get just bare bones, strictly drama, like genre, no other subgenre or whatever, these are my picks. So there is The Hunt and Room, which are very close to being my favorites, but the one I had to go with was Nocturnal Animals. Jake Gyllenhaal, again, does an amazing job here, but there's something about this film with its themes and what it's trying to say. It's beautiful. It's very depressing, and it's got this one scene nearing the start that is one of the most intense, uncomfortable scenes that you'll ever see on screen. It'll put you on the edge of your seat, basically, but in a very bad, uncomfortable way. Nocturnal Animals could be remarked as pretentious. It could be, you know, it's a little bit like that. It's a little bit artsy-fartsy, but if you really sit down and watch the whole thing and pay attention, trust me, it's definitely worth a watch. It blew my mind the first time I watched it, and the 5th time I've watched it. And then some more wild card genres here, okay? I'm adding some more because this is my video. I make up the rules. I had to add a couple just because I thought this list was kind of missing some. I have added biopic or however you say it. And my picks are Only the Brave and the Founder, but my top spot is I, Tonya, which I think is a very, 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 very underrated film. I love it very much, but I do not think it is a film that pretty much anybody else would include on a list of absolute favorites, but I absolutely do. And then the last genre that I've added here on this thing is war, because come on, how can you not have war in your genre thing? It's a pretty big one, guys. And the ones that I could have gone for with war were Land of Mine and Eye in the Sky, which are kind of unconventional choices, I know. Probably ones you haven't heard of, but my top spot is one that you've definitely heard of in Inglourious Bastards. What? It's not Platoon? What? It's not Full Metal Jacket? Look, they're great too, and they probably deserve a top pick too. But the one that I'm going with is Inglourious Bastards. It's just a hell of a lot of fun. It's done so damn well by Quentin Tarantino. You know, some of the, what are they called, like Mexican standoff scenes and everything, like in the bar, and the part at the start with Christoph Waltz suspecting that the guy is keeping Jewish people under his floorboards and everything. It's just, man, those are definitely two highlights from the film, but pretty much the whole film, it's a movie full of highlights. It is fantastic. And that's it. Those are my genres. Those are my picks for the genres. Let me know what you think of them. But before I go, I just have to also mention the people that I'm gonna like tag in this to do their own videos. So first up is the Greek Geek, Paul, who has honestly become one of my best friends in the past year or so. He has a channel that focuses on quite nerdy things, like, I mean, given the name, The Greek Geek, right? It's kind of a given that he's going to talk about nerdy things, but he likes sci-fi and monsters. Big fan of Godzilla, so he does a lot of videos about that kind of thing. Recently, he did a really good one about Mulan and why the final battle in that new remake sucks. Goes very in depth into kind of battle strategies and all that kind of stuff. Very smart guy and very funny. I love him. He's my boy. Aw, love ya. Love you, Paul. I sound like I'm being sarcastic. I do. I love you, Paul. And then there is the Unapologetic Geek, who honestly, if I'm being honest, has one of the best channels on the entire site. Like, and that's not even an exaggeration. He is quite underrated. He's got like a few thousand subscribers. Definitely deserves more. Each and every video teaches me new things. His videos are so well researched and edited, very professionally done. And yeah. Nah, he's fantastic. Then there is the Martial Arts Film Freak. Tristan from there is a good buddy of mine. Given the name, obviously he focuses mainly on martial arts films. I think that that's kind of a great niche. I haven't always heard of the films. Well, I've pretty much have never heard of the films that he covers. But it's always fun to watch and learn and kind of watch a guy who knows what he's talking about when it comes to these films. Like, you know, I know fuck all about fighting and martial arts and stuff, but it's cool to just watch this guy who does know about that stuff. And he is a big supporter of mine. I always appreciate it. He always watches my videos, I think. I think he watches every single one of them, and he watches them early as well. Like, as soon as I post them, he always comments. It means the world to me. It's fucking amazing how much he supports me, and so you guys should go support him and also make a video, Tristan. Then next up is another good buddy of mine from Pop Culture with Pat. I recently featured on his channel myself, actually. So you can see us discuss some internet stuff. But yeah, he does a variety of things. He likes to cover the recent stuff, but he also likes to do some weird older movies that he's kind of nostalgic for, whether it's horror or it's some sort of holiday themed thing. He likes to do a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like, if it's Halloween, he'll do a Halloween video, you know. He did one for St. Patrick's Day and all that kind of stuff. I like the variety of his channel, and he's a cool guy. I like him quite a lot. Then there is Much Ado About Nerd Things. This guy is Lynn Hatat from that channel. He does some great researched videos. They're very well edited, and something that I really like about his videos are that he teaches me things and they're interesting, but they don't feel like homework. Like, they're just fun, and I like that. He's got a great sense of humor and everything, and yeah, it's cool. Then there is the Big Shot Critic. David from that channel is a massive supporter of mine. Really appreciate that. And he has kind of an interesting channel where he does some various video essay types of things on movies. He'll cover quite a broad variety of things. Like, he'll choose some random ones. Like, recently he did one on Eddie the Eagle, which is a fairly underrated film. But then he's done stuff on Spider-Man and Fast and Furious and all that kind of stuff. One of the last ones is Boutique Blu-rays with Elliot Cohen. This guy's kind of a big shot, to be honest. He has, like, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 subscribers or something at the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't see this and he doesn't participate. That's fine. All good. I thought I'd give him a shout out anyway, because the channel's really good. It's all about, well, as the name suggests, collecting Blu-rays. Boutique Blu-rays is his specialty, so the fancy stuff, the Criterion Collection, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, being the kind of guy I am, it's kind of right up my alley. I like learning a bit about the Criterion Collection and seeing somebody with a really great curated collection. And then the last one that I've got here that I'm tagging is Mid-Level Media. Ken from that channel is also a massive collector. I think he's got a bigger collection than me. I think by far. His channel is often all about collecting like the special edition steel books and lots of different stuff like that. He has like a bunch of hour-long videos just going through his various collections and stuff. I very much like content like that, so it's pretty cool. And he's a cool guy. I like him. So get on to making your video if you can be fucked. But no obligation to any of you guys watching, or not even watching if you didn't. You don't have to. I just thought I'd tag people and whatever, because that's kind of the aim of the game, right? That's what this tag thing is. So, yep, cool. Thanks for watching. Catch yous next time. Do the things, though. Also, you know what they are. Like and comment and share and subscribe. Come on. Come on. You know. Bye.